Cancer is a disease that knows no boundaries. It does not care where you come from, your age, your religion, your race, or even how much money you have in your bank account. Cancer can appear at any time, sometimes without showing any symptoms until too late. Cancer research reports that there are over 200 different types of cancer that can appear in any organ of the body. One type of cancer that does not receive as much media attention is colorectal cancer, also known as colon cancer. Colon cancer is the second biggest cancer killer in the United States, and in 2004 it was the biggest cancer killer of both men and women in the District of Columbia. So what is being done to tackle this silent killer? US Representatives Kay Granger from Texas and Patrick Kennedy from Rhode Island have introduced a bipartisan bill, H.R. 1189, that would amend the Public Health Service Act to establish a national screening program and would give states the option to provide medical assistance for men and women screened and found to have colorectal cancer. But what is colon cancer and who gets it? Gastroenterologist Dr. Milton Koch explains.
We know that colon cancer in at least 60% of the time starts in a little growth called a polyp. There are absolutely no symptoms. The only people that are at risk, and you may be aware of this, are family history members. So that if somebody has a first-degree relative, which is defined as a parent, a brother, or a sister, or a child who's had either a colon cancer or a colon polyp, we then put those people at a higher risk category, which means that we would screen them more routinely. But the important point is that everybody 50 and over is at risk. So I'm telling you that there's a certain population that's slightly higher risk, but 50 and over is a time where statistically these little polyps want to grow.
Dr. Koch, a colorectal cancer survivor himself, says that screening methods such as colonoscopy can cure cancer, as polyps believed to be cancerous can be removed during screening. But what exactly does colonoscopy entail?
So colonoscopy is a procedure that uses a long, thin, flexible tube called a fiber optic tube. The patient needs to be cleared out with laxatives the day before. The procedure is done in an outpatient setting usually. It doesn't have to be done at a hospital. It could be done at a clinic that has specialists there. And the patient is sedated because it can be uncomfortable. And the nice thing about the procedure is that it doesn't take long. The risks are very, very, very low. Not zero, but low compared to the benefits. And what I mean by that is that the benefits are either reassuring people there's nothing there. For one day out of their life, the benefits are overwhelming.
The Colon Cancer Coalition, C3, is just one colon cancer advocacy group that is working with Representatives Granger and Kennedy to ensure that H.R. 1189 receives enough support in Congress to pass. C3's Public Policy Director Joe Ariti says,
at the end of last year, we weren't able to get it through because of the shortened schedule. So this Congress, it was reintroduced, and H.R. 1189 by Congresswoman Granger and Congressman Patrick Kennedy. And we've just, right out of the bat, we've been really pushing this piece of legislation. Last year, we ended with 162 co-sponsors, and we're just trying to regain that kind of drive over into House right now, and also move that over to the Senate.
But how do we get the public more aware when colon cancer is just one of those topics that people don't want to talk about? Especially in the District of Columbia, where mortality rates from colon cancer are at an all-time high. Scope It Out is a colon cancer awareness group based in DC. They hold a colon cancer 5K race every March during Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Scope It Out was set up in 2005 by Charlotte Crumsley and is now run by Julianne Klaus, whose mother died from colon cancer 10 years ago.
Charlotte and I have both had, when we met, had the same kind of goals in mind with the race, to be a fun environment that something people would enjoy and come out and do, but also to try to educate them as much as possible while they're participating in the race. So it's a great audience because you get a lot of people that like to just run and look for fun races, so that they might not know anything about colon cancer, and as a byproduct of the race, they learn about colon cancer. And then you have people who are supporting the cause because their family has been affected somehow, and they just want to increase awareness. So you kind of get the two different audiences there, and I think it's a fun way to get people talking about it. It's a non-threatening environment. I myself became involved because I lost my mother to colon cancer over 10 years ago now, and when my mom was diagnosed, you didn't hear anything about colon cancer in the media, I had heard of the disease, but I didn't even know anything about it. So my mom was diagnosed, I was educating myself, trying to figure out, what the disease was all about, what caused it, that kind of stuff. But when I found out how preventable it actually could be with a colonoscopy, that's when I got really angry. Because my mom, when she died, was 58 years old. And she was already in stage 4 when she was diagnosed. It was very advanced. Had someone told her at the age of 50 to have a colonoscopy, she'd still be alive today. So that lack of knowledge really inspired me to try to do something and try to get the word out and encourage people to pay attention to this disease, because it's quite prevalent in the United States. And it is about, I always joke, one of the most equal opportunity cancers out there, because it affects men and women of all races in near equal numbers. So
I spoke to runners from this year's Scope It Out race about why they believe that HR 1189 should be passed.
We're here today to support our friend Dorothy Java, who's been battling colon cancer for several years now, and it's important that people get screened, and some people can't afford it, so let's make that happen, guys.
A dear friend of ours took colon cancer 2 weeks ago, and she was a big fighter, and she was a victim of insurance. Didn't allow her to get a colonoscopy at the first signs. A full year later, after her doctor fought, she showed up with stage 4, and they gave her 18 months. She made it 4 years. See your doctor if you have any symptoms. If you're 50, get your colonoscopies. Even with her, they had to fight for. When she went in, they wouldn't allow her to get a colonoscopy because she was only 35. And no family history, so that's what the insurance said, no, you're fine. And she said, okay, I feel great, you must be right.
Doctors, advocacy groups and colon cancer awareness organisations all claim that this piece of legislation, HR 1189, could help save lives. But the success of this bill rests with the representatives in the building behind me. A decision is expected to be made by the end of 2009. For Talk Radio News Service in Washington DC, I'm Kaylee Harvey.